Sonic has a lot of spin-offs. Sega really put Sonic everywhere for the past 32 years, and these covers, they can get freaky. The rules are the same as in the last video. They'll be judged for style and creativity, and how well they represent each game. Even though this video is about spin-offs, I'm not including crossovers. So no Sega All-Stars and no Mario and Sonic Olympics. The Mario and Sonic Olympic covers, they're all plain. This is going to be a long run, looking back on the spin-off covers ranging all the way from the Sega Master System to present day. Let's do this! Kicking off with Sonic 1, Sega Master System. Mostly influenced by the North American cover of Sonic 1 with Sonic in Green Hill Zone, but using the Japanese artwork of Sonic himself. This looks more spacious. No shuttle loop behind Sonic, but instead, that vast ocean and the mountains in the background. Rings are scattered all over the place, which might tell us Sonic was just hit. But he's fine now. The black and white grid in the background, which unfortunately was on every Master System cover, does bring it down. If you're a fan of the Master System grid, more power to you. I don't see it as a good look. This is an alright cover. I give it a B. Sonic 1, Game Gear, North America. Hey, not too bad. I take back what I said about the 06 cover. This is the first one to use Sonic's speed. His legs are going in a wheel, like in the old cartoons. And there's an after image behind him. We did not deserve Greg Martin. On the right, for the first time in a box art, we see Eggman in his Eggmobile. And it looks like he doesn't have goggles. We can see his eyes. Buzz bombers are shooting at Sonic, making this a lot more action-packed than the other Sonic 1 box art covers. And instead of Green Hill Zone, he's in Bridge Zone, given the bridge there. You know what? This is the best box art for Sonic 1. Any Sonic 1. It has action. It shows you who the villain is. The hero special ability is right in front of you. For me, this is better than all the covers of the 16-bit version. Definitely an A rank. So far, so good. Sonic 1 Game Gear, Japan. Yikes! Alright. This is the cover that has the most woodland critters and badniks. We see Eggman with his Eggmobile, with legs, predating Sonic Adventure 2 by 10 years. The artwork of Sonic is the same, and we see Green Hill in the background. And none of this works. The badniks and woodland critters, they're scattered all over the cover. And it's hard to tell which are supposed to be villainous. They're all cute. Speaking of cute, Eggman. Like with the European box art for 16-bit Sonic 1, he's not framed as menacing. You could mistake him for a supporting character. He's your fun-loving uncle who likes to invent things. The threat of machinery used for evil is not on the cover. The badniks are just as adorable as the animals. And why is Green Hill only in a frame? You'd think they would expand Green Hill to cover the whole box art, but instead it's Green Hill in a frame surrounded by a white canvas. Also, Sonic and everyone else were drawn through different artwork. Sonic is finished, but Eggman, the badniks, the critters, concept art. Different art styles on the same cover. This cover is awful. Too busy, doesn't convey what the game really is, and it looks so haphazard. I may be harsh with this, but it's my honest opinion. E rank. Sonic 2, Game Gear, North America. A part 2 of Sonic 1 on Game Gear. This time we've got Sonic on a hang glider, and Tails is in the mix. Sonic again has that after image. He is zooming on that hang glider, and Tails is running just like Sonic did in the first cover. He's also got the wheel legs. Eggman's sinking his badniks against it too, so you know there's gonna be a lot of danger in this game. Now for the problems. Eggman is too similar to the Sonic 1 box art. And the elephant in the room, Tails. Tails isn't playable in this game. He appears in the title card of every stage, he's in the ending, but you can't play as him. This was released before the 16-bit version of Sonic 2, so you could see this game as a big sneak preview of the major game. I can't see that, but he's on the cover of this game. Little kids at the time might have thought Tails would be playable in this. They must have been so disappointed. I like the cover, really, I do, but it promises too much. B rank. Sonic 2 Game Gear, Japan. Look familiar? Well, it should, because this is exactly the same as the Mega Drive cover. You thought the North American box art was promising too much? This is inexcusable. In Japan, both the Game Gear and Mega Drive games were released on the same day. In the Mega Drive version, you can play as Tails, like the cover says. Sonic and Tails' names are in the background, connected to each other, being treated as equals. But in Sonic 2 on Game Gear, only Sonic is playable. So for this artwork being used for the Game Gear version, total bullshit. I do love the artwork, but this is not the game to use it. D rank. Sonic Chaos, Master System. I like this cover. Sonic is pretty humble here, pointing at Tails, as if he's going, "Hey, check this kid out! He's awesome!" we have Tails flying, and I take back what I said about Sonic 3. This is the first game where you can fly as Tails. It looks like they're in Green Hill Zone, but if you look closely, the trees seem artificial. Could this be Mecha Green Hill Zone? It might be. The boss of that stage, Tree Crawler, is on the right, crawling on a tree. Below Sonic, the Beadworm, and below Tails, the Bouncy Boss. There is nothing but truth on this cover. It's good in my book. Hello, A-Rank. Sonic Chaos, Game Gear, North America. Even better. Sonic is bouncing on a pogo spring, which is one of the power-ups in this game. Tails is flying, and the two are in Sleeping Egg Zone. Again, truth. A giant Eggman is in the background holding a Chaos Emerald. Oh wait, this is the first game to put emeralds on the cover, not Superstars. A whole 30 years before Superstars did it. And here the emerald looks like a rectangle instead of that diamond shape. It was the early years. The emeralds looked different then. My only nitpick with the cover is Sonic used the pogo spring to break through a giant block. And if you look below Sonic, he's pooping a rock out of him. I can't unsee it. Well, rock poop aside, this is a solid cover. A-Rank. Sonic Chaos, Game Gear, Japan. AKA Sonic and Tails. Now we're talking, Japan. Cut from the same cloth as the Mega Drive covers. A white canvas with plenty of color and shapes in the background. Sonic and Tails are on the cover, and this time, you can play as both of them. Unlike Sonic 2, this one isn't a lie. Can we take a minute to appreciate the Sonic Chaos covers? They're all stylish and all honest. If I saw any of these as a kid, I would try them out, and I wouldn't be disappointed. A-Rank. Alright, Sonic Chaos, all A's. Sonic Spinball, North America. Okay, Pinball has never looked this epic. Sonic is on a pinball track with a flipper right in front of him, and the track is right above lava. Behind Sonic is Mount Mobius, which reeks of doom. Eggman's beside the mountain, and he is furious. Well, some people do get angry playing pinball. This cover did not have to look this good. It's only a spin-off pinball game, but Greg Martin said, I'm gonna work my magic. A-Rank. It has to be A-Rank. Sonic Spinball, Japan. Kinda trippy, this cover. Sonic is curled into a ball with after images right behind him in different colors. Oh hey look, Supersonic! Even though it's a spin-off, it's taking notes from the main series covers. White canvas with shapes, you get the idea. A big problem here. Without the title, how would you know this is Pinball? It's just Sonic in a ball. This could be used for other games. I like it fine. Not as much as the other Spinball cover though. I'll give this a B rank. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, North America. Oh, now the party's starting. Inside Robotnik's factory, which we do see in the game, the innocent beanfolk of Beanville have been abducted by the Badniks and now are being converted into robots. The premise right on the cover. We know what's at stake here. To date, this is the only cover to not feature the hero. The star-shaped bean has been nowhere on the cover. To be honest, I didn't know about Has Been until I did some research on this game. I always thought there was no protagonist, it's just you're doing the Puyo Puyo puzzles. The factory itself is fittingly busy. Robotnik's there, he's directing his badniks, and it looks like a factory. There is a lot going on there. There is one flurb here that kind of bugs me. Below Robotnik is a green balcony, and if you look at Grounder, he's standing on the handrail of the balcony. Don't have the balcony there, it wasn't needed. Overall, a solid B. B for Bean. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, France, aka Dr. Robotnik and his Mean Bean Machine. We have a very frustrated Robotnik slamming his hand onto the machine. What makes this cover pretty eerie are the beans. In the North American cover, they're in the background. On the French cover, right in the front. And those faces they have, especially the ones connected to other beans. Ugh. The red bean on the conveyor belt is shouting, "Un jeu diabolique!" A diabolical game. The green bean is also scared, but the yellow bean? He doesn't mind. I'm up for anything. I am not feeling this one, and I want to see it a lot less. C rank. Sonic Drift, the first Sonic racing game, and damn does it have a kick-ass cover. Using the white background with shapes template like other Japanese covers, this one covers the 4 racers in Drift. Sonic, Tails, Eggman, and Amy, this being her first time on a box art. Wait, a racing game with only 4 playable characters. Possible inspiration? All 4 are driving with different expressions. Sonic looks so attentive and determined. He's so in the zone with racing. Eggman is giving a wicked grin, possibly thinking, I won't let you have this race, you blue pest. Amy is so excited to be in a race with her hero Sonic. And we have a little heart there to convey her crush on him. And Tails, oh man. Forget the Luigi death stare. You don't want the Tails death stare. Tails has weapons. He can outsmart you. Don't get on Tails' bad side. And he is so pissed at Sonic. What happened before this game started? What did Sonic do? Maybe we're better off not knowing. The artwork is dynamic and gets you pumped for racing, giving this an A. And if I rank it any lower, Tails will give me his death stare, and I don't want that. Sonic the Hedgehog Gameworld. If you've never heard of this is the first educational Sonic game. It was released for the Sega Pico, which you could call a console-laptop hybrid mainly for little kids. Sonic, Tails, and Amy, who you can play as in this game, are in an industrial setting, like in the game. I like Sonic's pose here, wouldn't mind seeing that in later artwork. Tails is fine. Amy is zoned out there. She looks like she's sitting on a chair, but there's no chair. This is an okay cover for the Sega Pico. You get a C rank. Tails and the Music Maker, also for the Sega Pico. This is the first ever solo Tails game, beating Sky Patrol in Adventure by 1 year. I'm not acknowledging the child's hand holding the cartridge. Every Pico game in the States did that. We're only focusing on the artwork. Tails standing on a giant piano keyboard, which does happen in the game, and a bunch of music notes are around him. That's it. There isn't much to say about this cover. It's fine for the game that it is. I'll put it comfortably in C rank. Wacky Worlds Creativity Studio. Another side game you might not have heard of. A Genesis game that you can play with a mouse. Think Mario Paint, but with Sonic. You can paint things and make music, and the cover has got those two. Sonic painting a dolphin, who is ecstatic about it. Yes, I'm blue-gray! A long piano streak and music notes around Tails, like the Music Maker. This game is meant for little kids, and the box art did a great job in that. It's cute, inventive, and a little magical. You're getting a B rank, Wacky Worlds. Now let's wrap up the classic era with Sonic Triple Trouble, North America. Taking place in a snowy area for once, Sonic is snowboarding for the first time ever on a cover. Surrounding him are his three big obstacles. Fang the Sniper, in his debut holding a Chaos Emerald, showing us that he's a treasure hunter. Knuckles, after being tricked by Eggman again, yeah, thanks for that. Although the cover does show us that Knuckles digs, and this is before the adventure games. I should point out that Knuckles doesn't do any digging in the game. That would have made for a great boss fight. Oh well. And Eggman himself, and oh, why do they give him that face? Those eyes and that big buck tooth, it's not a good look. Yo, Hedgehog, yo. This is a good cover. Derpy face and all. A high B rank. Sonic Triple Trouble, Japan, aka Sonic and Tails 2. This is to the point. Sonic and Tails are back and they're both playable again. And that's really it. I do like the star-studded ring behind them being on a cover. The white canvas could have used more colorful shapes. Diagonal thin black lines, they're not working for me. Not as good as the first cover. I'll give this low B rank. Now for the zaniness that is the post-classic era, shifting into Sonic Drift 2. More practical than Drift 1's cover. Everyone's on a racetrack. Fang is sabotaging Eggman, taking a hit there, and right behind Tails, there's a spring. It would have helped if someone uses the spring to showcase what it can do. We once again have all playable racers on the cover, and this has got to be the most innocent Metal Sonic has ever looked on a box art. He's in last place, and he's so sad. Oh, I'm never gonna win the race. Hang in there, Metal, you can do it! While Drift 1 has the better box art, this one's pretty good. B rank. On to the best game on the Sega 32X. Because it was the 32X. Knuckles' Chaotix. Two of the stars in this game, Knuckles and Vector, are on Carnival Island, aka Neutrogic High Zone. Both Knuckles and Vector are holding two ends of their bound rings, which every hero has to do for the entire game, save for special stages. On the rope part of the bound rings, you can see sparkles along it, giving it a supernatural, mystical approach. It is kind of random to have Bush Bubble there, that green robot. Yeah, out of all the badniks, Bush Bubble. Alright, I really like the amusement park in the background, giving it more lively detail. This is a good cover. It may seem simple at first glance, but there was care put into it. I love Knuckles' confident look there. Gotta give it points for that. And on a sentimental note, this is the final box art drawn by Greg Martin. Rest in peace, Mr. Martin. This gets an A rank. Knuckles' Chaotix, Europe. Same as the North American box art, but mirrored. Although there is a unique addition on the bottom, the Big Five playable heroes and Metal Sonic. With Vector, Espio, and Charmy there, this is the first cover to feature Team Chaotix. It does get points for that. It does lose points for a glaring flaw. Like with Sonic 1 Game Gear in Japan, there are two different art styles used. Greg Martin's and the Japanese artwork on the bottom. If you compare the two Knuckleses and the two Vectors, they don't look alike. It's inconsistent. I do have a soft spot for it, and Europe has the best 32X logo. Damn, that can't be beat. Overall, it's getting a B. Knuckles' Chaotix, Japan, aka Chaotix, featuring Knuckles the Echidna. This one's taking a different route, sort of like old Japanese box art covers with a white background, but there are no shapes there. I appreciate all 5 heroes being treated equally, showing only their faces, or most of their faces. What doesn't work for me is that they use sprite models. Why couldn't they use 2D artwork? That way it would have looked cleaner and less rough around the edges. What do you think? You prefer sprites or 2D artwork? It's getting a B. Tails' Sky Patrol. Aww. Tails has never been so happy before. He's flying with the boomerang in hand, and also on the cover are 3 of the big bads in this game. Caratia, in her carrot ship, Huckwolf, and the main villain, Witchcart, who is the furthest from Tails. You could mistake Caratia as the main villain. Whoops. This box art sells what the game is. Tails always flying with the boomerang. It's positive, joyful, and puts you in a good mood. I'll give this a high B. My favorite Game Gear game, Tails Adventure. This has the best use of Tails on any box art. Tails is standing on his submarine, the Sea Fox, which is in the game, and he's being pursued by the Battle Cuckoo Army. They've got bombs, planes, submarines, mines, a flippin' battleship. They're all coming after Tails, but he knows he can take them on. There's a bit of a tropical island theme here, with the water and Coco Island in the background. This cover perfectly tells you what kind of game this is. Tails is the hero here, and he's got the gadgets to fight this bird army. I really appreciate when a game is proud of Tails. Tails on the cover is shouting, "My name is Tails, and I can do anything!" Love this box art. I think we've got our first S rank. Now let's slow things down with Sonic Labyrinth, North America. Sonic is in the labyrinth using the spin dash to get around, which you will be doing if you play this game. He's ricocheting off flippers, bumpers, and oh, that drinking bird robot. He got it right in the beak. Oof. So far, this is the most pain we've seen on a cover. In the background is a giant faded Eggman, with his face covered by the title. Why couldn't they lower the title in between Sonic and Eggman? That way we can see his face. We don't need to see that slope that badly. This box art is fitting for Labyrinth, but it's not very good. C rank. Sonic Labyrinth, Japan. Same as the North American cover, but they fixed the #1 problem, the title placement. Now it's in between Sonic and Eggman. Also, we can see past the title. Nothing is hidden. It does, however, raise another problem. Eggman's face. It's creeping me out. He doesn't look maniacal or joyful or any of Eggman's key personality traits. He's just empty. This blank glare that's so emotionless. I think I see why the North American version blocked it. This is ranked a little higher than the North American one. Sonic Labyrinth, Europe. Easily the best one. The labyrinth is larger in scale, and Sonic is holding a key, like in the game. A lot more work was done here, making the labyrinth seem more explorative and fun. This almost makes me feel like playing Labyrinth. Nice try, European cover. I'm not gonna do it, but you get an A for effort. And an A on my tier list. Now for a certain gem that you may have heard of as not just any educational Sonic game, but the educational Sonic game. Sonic Schoolhouse! Yep, the nightmare first-person PC game with math and reading. It's underscored so you know it's gonna be good. Sonic's model here kinda looks devoid of thought, or a soul. He has this vacant look in his eyes like he doesn't know where he is. He could be on drugs and just pointing at random things. My favorite part about this box art, the C and the 12. They have such an apathetic look in their eyes, like they don't want to be there. 12 is funnier, it's part of the equation, and it doesn't care. 2 + 10 = 12! And 12 is looking at Sonic like he's thinking, ugh, this guy. It doesn't want to be there. Why did they design him that way? Maybe because in the game, all the numbers look like that. They have the same expression. Why did they do that? Alright, out of all the covers, this is the hardest to rank. It's an educational game for little kids. I can't give them too much crap for that. And the cover does perfectly capture what the game is. It is creepy and trippy as hell. In honor of the letter that got a laugh out of me, I'm giving Schoolhouse a C. Time for the final Genesis game, Sonic 3D Blast. This did a pretty good job showing off the pre-rendered graphics on the Genesis. Sonic himself looks alright, and there's a bit of a blur there showing us he's in motion. Although the caterpillar looks way more detailed, you can see the reflection off its head. I also like the light shining on the leaves in the background. 3D Blast was more about graphics than gameplay, and it is impressive on 4th gen hardware, right up there with Vector Man. Also, the logo is extruded, giving it a 3D look. An okay cover for what I consider to be an okay game. C rank. 3D Blast Mega Drive Europe, aka Sonic 3D, Flicky's Island. More dynamic than the North American version, only Sonic's head in 3D looking right at you. Once again, it's all about the graphics. Look at the title, 3D is way bigger than Sonic. Despite having the name Flickies on the cover, we don't see any Flickies. That would have helped make the cover look more specific about what this game is about. On the other hand, the out there ambition of this cover really catches your eye. We've never seen Sonic like this before. It's an all-new game with an all-new look. Step into 3D. Low B rank or high C rank? Low B rank. Now for the final Game Gear game, Sonic Blast North America. It's bad. So, like the game, the cover's going for pre-rendered graphics, but the model doesn't look good. Like with Schoolhouse, Sonic looks zoned out. The background is very likely Red Volcano Zone, which is in the game. There's that, there's honesty there. The title, it's 3D Blast without the 3D. It's the same. This is a half-assed cover. Fitting for the game, but I should not give it too much credit. It's not 3D, but it is getting D. Sonic Blast, Japan, aka G-Sonic. But, oh, you have got to be kidding me. Why didn't we get this? This is way better. Taking inspiration from the Japanese classic covers, we've got Sonic and Knuckles, both of which are playable, and Eggman in his coolest pose ever, Radical. It's expressive, polished, and overall a stellar box art. Except for one thing. The title G-Sonic is used 4 times. It's on the top right, it's on the left, it's on left center, it's below left center. 1 for Japanese, 1 for English, that's all you need. Sonic 2 Japan, you've been bested. This was so close to getting an A rank. I'll give this one the highest B rank. Now on to the Sega Saturn with Sonic 3D Blast, North America. This one's more upbeat compared to the Genesis one. It might be just me, but I think there's a metaphor for superior hardware. On the less powerful Genesis cover, Sonic runs, but on the more powerful Sega Saturn, Sonic jumps. And once again, there's a blur effect. The background is more detailed and feels a lot more open. We can see some of the ruins on Flicky Island, and the sky is there. There's more breathing room on this cover. It really would have helped to show the Flickies on the cover, since they are a core part of the game. Why are the poor Flickies always left out? This gets a high C rank. Sonic 3D Blast, Japan, aka Sonic 3D, Flickies' Island. The only 3D Blast cover to not use a 3D model. And it works the best. I love the artwork of Sonic here. This is such a perfect segue between classic era Sonic and adventure era Sonic. That pose, you can see a glimmer of the Adventure 1 cover there. Every time I see this cover, I'm hearing techno music in my head, like Sonic is at the club. The word rescue is repeated all over the cover, and that's what we're doing in the game. We are rescuing Flickies. This has got the most style out of all the 3D Blast covers. A definite A rank. And the final game of the post-classic era, Sonic R, Sega Saturn. Well, what can I say? It's straight to the point. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Eggman, they're in a race. The black and white checkerboard flag behind the logo, that helps signify it's a race. This cover could have also worked for a platformer on the Saturn where Team Sonic is playable, and R did it the best with 3D models. There's no uncanny valley with the characters. They're finished and full of personality. Knuckles has his coolness factor, and Tails has his childlike sense of wonder. I also love the motion blur in the background. Speed is the name of the game. Even though R is a little wonky and you don't go that fast. But still, Sonic R is getting a B. Sonic R PC, Japan. Oof! For some reason, this cover used the in-game models instead of pre-rendered ones. They're racing on a flat checkerboard track, which isn't in the game, and behind them is just a cyan void, also not in the game. This cover does have Amy on it, and that's all it's got. Eggman is the only character to have an expression. Everyone else has a blank look on their faces. Just, why? Why use the in-game models? And why use that checkerboard track? If they're using the in-game models of the characters, why not use a track in the game? The stages in Sonic R do look appealing. They could have easily chosen Resort Island. This is best summed up as the halfway version of the Saturn cover. It's getting a D. After a half hour, we finally made it to the adventure era. Sonic has so many spin-offs. Okay, Sonic the Hedgehog Pocket Adventure on the NEOGEOPOCKET color. It's just Sonic's artwork from Adventure 1 cropped out in front of a red, yellow, and orange canvas. Granted, Pocket Adventure is a small game, and I can see where they would cut some corners. But still, this cover's lazy. I'll give it a high D. Sonic Shuffle, North America. This cover's got style. The main four are in a rift between worlds going at light speed. It's so cool! Each of them is holding a card, which is a key factor in this party game, and their expressions are uniquely theirs, helping each of them stand out. This gets a high B. Sonic Shuffle, Japan. Oh no. Alright, character artwork is the same, and that's all good, but the background, it's way too much! We've got almost all the worlds in the game, the board is there with all the buttons and everything. It's too bloated. This is why you don't put the board on a cover for a party game. D rank. From here on out, the rest of this era is on the Game Boy Advance. Speaking of, Sonic Advance! The first handheld platformer to feature more than 2 playable characters. We've got the main four right in front of a cyan-themed checkerboard background. My one complaint is that it feels a little too cluttered. Maybe make Sonic a tad smaller and move Tails, Knuckles, and Amy a little closer to the foreground. And the Chao too. By the way, the Chao artwork is the same one from the Adventure 2 battle cover. I recognize that uh-oh face. Still, I really like this cover, and I will give it points for including Amy's Pico Pico hammer for the first time on a box art. I also like that detail where Sonic has the single thumb up, just 1 digit. I wonder if that'll lead to something. Advance gets an A rank. Sonic Advance 2. Continuing from the template that began in Advance 1. All 4 heroes in front of a light green checkerboard background. Instead of lumping the other 3 heroes together, this time they're set vertically, making them more evened out. And in place of Amy is Cream the Rabbit in her debut. Although Amy is in the game, but you have to unlock her. I think it's for the best that Amy wasn't on the cover. That's right, you can play as Amy too. After you unlock everything, it's not too hard. Also continuing from Advance 1, Sonic is holding up 2 fingers, doing the V sign, which I'm surprised no cover has done before. Out of all the sequels, Advance 2 is the first one to do the V sign. Better late than never, and I want to say that Advance 2 is the only box art I have hanging up in my house. The game came with a poster, and you bet me and my brother put it up on the wall. Advance 2 goes a little higher than Advance 1. Sonic Pinball Party. We've got Sonic with Knights and Amigo from Samba de Amigo. Need to clarify something. In the beginning of the video, I did say no Sega All-Stars crossovers, but Pinball Party doesn't really count as one. To be a proper Sega All-Stars crossover, you need enough characters. Pinball Party only has 3 courses, one themed after Sonic, one after Knights, and one after Samba de Amigo. The game is more about the courses than the characters they're themed after. Knights is only mentioned in the scoreboard in the game's story, which is more than I can say for Amigo. You don't really see these two in the game, you just see their pictures on the courses. It is misleading. Overall, this cover is just okay. It's no Spinball. I'll give it a C. Sonic Battle! Whoa! A hot-blooded fighting game where the characters use moves we've never seen before. And that's what Sonic Battle is. Sonic is attacking Shadow with a downward kick, the Sonic Eagle, and Shadow's chaos powers are explored further. I dig the artwork used for Battle. Sharp and gruff, while still retaining that colorful disposition Sonic is known for. A good balance. And that fiery head in the logo that looks like Sonic after eating a few ghost peppers, that kicks ass. It doesn't represent anyone specifically, it shows how intense the game can get. It could be anybody. This is the ideal box art for Battle. It gets your attention, and your blood pumping. S rank. Wrapping up the Advance trilogy and the Adventure era with Sonic Advance 3. The same template as the first two, this time with a yellow checkerboard background, Sonic has 3 fingers, and all 5 playable characters are on the cover, lined up vertically like in Advance 2. And the individual artwork for each character is the best of the Advance covers. Does that Knuckles pose look familiar? That's the one I used in my first video. And she's climbing on top of Cream's head, it's so cute! This is the end of their Advance journey, and they all look their sharpest. Advance 3 is A rank, higher than Advance 2. The Dark Era begins with Shadow the Hedgehog. Personally, I hate this box art. This image. This took part in reducing Shadow, one of my favorite Sonic characters, into a joke. He's Edgy the Hedgy, Shadow the Hedgehog, ow, the edge! Looking back on the earlier covers, they were so subtle with how they used Shadow. He was attentive, sure of himself. He didn't do much, but he had this commanding presence. This cover is overcompensating. Shadow's so angry, gritting his teeth, he's holding a gun, and there's an explosion behind him. Yeah, Shadow's never been this cool. If it were up to me, I'd use this artwork of Shadow on the cover. Him just walking with that glare. That's enough to make him imposing. The artwork that was put on the cover, it's way too try-hard. Lined up on the left side, it says, Ultimate Lifeform, which is really cumbersome to read. Granted, the box art does represent the game to a T. For 90% of this game, Shadow is an angsty surly brat. But just because the cover matches the game, that does not mean I'm giving away free A ranks. The cover still needs to win me over. There are some nice things I can say about it. The graphics on Shadow's pre-rendered model are top-notch. Dirt on his shoes and light reflecting from his eyes. And there is some attention to detail behind Shadow. In the background, we see a skyscraper, cluing us in that this is Central City. There's also the red sky caused by the black arms, and I think the black comet is there. Overall, I still hate this box art and I want to give it a D rank. But I should be fair, so I'll give it a C rank. And that's the highest I could ever give this. Things are moving up with Sonic Rush. The cover features the only two playable characters, Sonic and Blaze the Cat in her debut. The wallpaper in the background has blue and purple, representing the two heroes. Although there's a much higher emphasis on blue, pushing purple all the way to the side. You could interpret this as the game having a bias towards Sonic, or you could see it as build-up for Blaze. Starting out small, but we learn more about her in time. There is that, but I prefer the two being seen as equals. And with that said, the background should have an equal ratio of blue and purple. Not that much going on in this cover, but it's fine. It's getting a B rank. Sonic Riders, North America. Team Sonic racing with the Babylon Rogues. Jet the Hawk, Wave the Swallow, and Storm the Albatross. Although there is much more emphasis on Jet here. Yeah, that's the one problem about this. Only Sonic and Jet matter. Everyone else, they're on the bottom. And they're not doing any cool tricks like Sonic and Jet are. They're just riding. The environment they're in is very likely Metal City, albeit a lot less colorful than in the game. A definite positive is that these pre-rendered graphics are the best in the 6th generation of consoles. I remember being blown away by the pre-rendered cutscenes in this game. They still hold up. I also like the 15th anniversary logo. Yeah, this is getting a B. Sonic Riders, Japan. Holy shit! Okay, unlike the North American one, everyone's in on the action. Tails is amazed by the sight ahead of him. Knuckles is ready to crush anything in his way, being a power type and all, and Storm looks so mighty there. The 2D artwork for Riders perfectly expresses the soul of it. Cut loose and ride into the air. That's Sonic Riders, baby. It's getting an S rank. Sonic Rivals. This cover has the honor of being the first one to have silver on it. That's right, this was the first cover to have silver. And he's a little undermined as Sonic is planting his hand on his head to keep him back. Out of my way, Silver! There's more unfriendliness going on. Knuckles is shooting at Shadow with fire. Yeah, Knuckles has fire. Rivals is a competitive racing game. Hit the other guy and keep running. Get to the finish line first. The stage they're in is Forest Falls Zone, which is like Green Hill Zone. Although we haven't seen Green Hill on a cover since Sonic R? The cover's alright, B rank. Step into the world of the Arabian Nights with Sonic and the Secret Rings. Dude! For a game with crummy controls, this is one badass box art. Sonic is standing in a palace as an open door behind him has light shining through. Behind that door could be any stage. The fire on Sonic's chest that Eraserjin cursed him with is reaching all the way up to the ceiling, matching the darkness next to Sonic. And on Sonic's hand is Shara's ring. This cover lets you know that we are not in Sonic's world. New places, new enemies, new rules. Man, Secret Rings is such a cool looking game. This is wishful thinking, but maybe it'll have an HD remaster with improved controls. Here's hoping. The gameplay might stink, but the box art is getting an A. Arr, ye landlubbers feast your eyes on Sonic Rush Adventure. We've got Sonic with the pirate baddie behind him, Captain Whiskers. And below them is Southern Island, the hub world of the game, and the Ocean Tornado, a ship that you travel in. This cover screams pirate and water. To the left of the title logo, we see a compass. If you like pirate stories and exploring the ocean, this game's got you. A big flaw with this cover. Where's Blaze? It's Sonic Rush, Sonic and Blaze. Why can't Blaze also be on the cover? The box art does have a lot of charm, but it's not the same without Blaze. B rank below Rush. Sonic Rivals 2. Unlike the first cover where the guys are in competition with each other, here, everyone's on the same side, and they're out to kill me! Ah! I'm dead. I'm dead. I don't stand a chance against any of them. On this box art, everyone is ready for battle, and everyone is paired with their partner. Sonic and Tails, Shadow and Metal, Knuckles and Rouge, and Silver and Espio. This is really action-packed, and has that early 90s comic book vibe to it. Rivals 2 is getting an A. Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. This is beautiful. It is. Out of all the covers for racing games, this is the most astonishing I've ever seen. Judging by the lighting, it looks like dawn, giving it a healthy balance of blue and red, the two meeting up top. Man, it's very likely that the 6 racers are in that tube in the beginning of the game, also in the ending. Both Sonic and Jet have an Arc of the Cosmos on their wrists, giving us a hint on what those two gizmos are and why they're so important. Breaking the limits of gravity is the main hook of this game. You can ride on walls, heavy objects are as light as balloons. This cover captures that. Gravity doesn't exist here. Like the song Ungravitify says, floating as a cream in a bliss that you no longer feel time. Sonic Riders Zero Gravity has hands down the best box art of all the spin-offs. It's engaging, gets you excited for racing, and it's beautiful. The highest S rank. Sonic Chronicles The Dark Brotherhood, North America. Heavily space-themed with the cosmos in the background. We have a giant Sonic looking valiant, and in the foreground is Shade the Echidna and the Nocturnus clan behind her, being set up as ominous and alien. For an RPG cover, this gets the job done. B rank. Sonic Chronicles Japan, aka Sonic Chronicles Invaders from the Dark Dimension. Oh yeah, this is the better of the two. Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and Amy in the Twilight Cage. Near the end of the story, that fortress behind them is Nocturne, the last area of the game. A silhouette of Shade is near the title, and she looks badass. I love that addition with the glowing pink eyes and sigil on her forehead. On the bottom it says Tojo, meaning entrance. The series' first RPG, and it's only RPG. Truth be told, I wouldn't mind Sonic taking another crack at RPGs. They can still work. This box art feels more in touch than the North American one, and overall it's better looking. More colorful, more dynamic, more adventurous. It's getting an A rank. Sonic and the Black Knight, North America. Sonic is armed with his chatty sword Caliburn in front of Camelot, and a looming image of the titular Black Knight is up top, setting the stage for what's to come. The colors in the background are too muted for my tastes, which is the point of the game. Sonic is in a new environment, a world that's not his own. The opening pre-rendered cutscene is desaturated, so it does match the cover. Sonic looks so cool there. His stance, his eyes, they all say determination and unyielding spirit. The only hindrance here is right there in the corner. A small page turn to reveal Sonic Storybook Series, which has been discontinued after this game. Oh, that's embarrassing. Oh, and that pic of Sonic winking, that's from the cutscene before Misty Lake. This little page turn is only on the North American cover. On a related note, I wouldn't mind the Storybook Series continuing. Maybe something based on Olympus or Journey to the West. What would you like to see? Black Knight is getting an A. Sonic and the Black Knight, Japan. Sonic is running in a pose reminiscent of the Secret Rings promo. This being a successor to Secret Rings, yeah, it fits. This box art is vigorous and hot-blooded. Not only is Sonic radiant, so is Caliburn. He's glowing gold, which might be a foreshadowing of the Excalibur form. And I really like that red banner behind Sonic, covered in medieval glyphs, like the world of Camelot. I like this cover more. A rank, higher than the North American one. Get your connect on with Sonic Free Riders. How accurate! The Worst Riders game has by far the worst box art. This is too basic. In the other covers, the characters are actually riding. They're doing tricks and flying into the wind. This one barely has a sense of movement. Besides Sonic, everyone is just lazily riding their boards. It's like Sonic is the only one who matters here. Also, the empty space in the background really doesn't do it for me. Using a void in a box art is hit and miss, and this is leaning towards miss. I don't like this cover. It's not bad, but it could have been better. C rank. Let's take a detour into Boom, starting with Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric. The cover's not bad. The 4 heroes are fighting robots, like in the game, and each of them is doing something different. Tails is throwing a bomb, Knuckles is charging power, Amy's about to hit with a hammer, and Sonic is using an enter beam to grapple... you? You. It was there the whole time. Lyric's head is on the top right, and we didn't need it. The robots already serve the threat of Lyric. He commands them to do his bidding. Putting Lyric's head there, it's an odd, unnecessary addition. I do like the environment. This dangerous jungle with a temple nearby, given the pattern on the floor. I'd give Rise of Lyric a low B. Sonic Boom, Shattered Crystal. It's there. The 4 heroes, including Styx the Badger for the first time on a cover, are running along a linear pathway. This cover doesn't have much going for it. The most interesting thing about it are those 2 statues in the background. It provides some world building and mythos. With nothing exclusive or significant to this game, it could serve as basic promo for just Boom in general. As a whole, this box art is just okay. C rank. Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice. For the final Boom game, this era felt longer than it actually did, believe me. We've got all 5 heroes on the cover. Behind them is Eggman and 2 robots, Defect and a giant spider mech. Also in the background is a collision of fire and ice. There's a horizontal split with blue up top and red on the bottom, the icy villains and the fiery heroes. Although fire and ice aren't associated with good or evil, the heroes can use both powers. A bit misleading. Out of all the Boom covers, this one definitely has the most energy put into it. It might feel too busy with all those characters included, but I think it's fine. B rank. Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice, Japan, aka Sonic Toon, Fire and Ice. At first glance, it might seem like half of the other cover, but look closely at the background. The clashing of fire and ice is rotated. The heroes can use both fire and ice, so there's no vertical split that might confuse you into thinking they can only use fire. And without the villains there, this feels more simplistic and streamlined. So, this is the best Boom cover. B rank, higher than the other version. Team Sonic Racing. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Shadow are on the Wisp circuit, and in the stands are a lively bunch of all chows. People don't exist. On the bottom is where the action is. As we can see, Knuckles is trying to kill Shadow. Throwing a fireball at him wasn't enough? The key character Dodonpa is watching the race, and next to him is what really catches your eye. The faded images of Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails racing together with a big racing flag. These 3 are in a team, and it's Team Sonic Racing. It's a nice cover. B rank. And now for the final spin-off game, The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. In this murder mystery, 3 characters in the foreground are Sonic, the murder victim, Tails, the detective, and Amy Rose, the guest of honor. None of these 3 can be the murderer, so the suspects are in the background. Espio, Vector, Blaze, Rouge, Shadow, and Knuckles. And the train this game takes place in is flying right above them. Around the suspects are things relating to the cars they're in. Around Rouge are rings, since she was in the casino. Around Espio are pages, since he was in the library. Also, I really like the characters playing dress-up. Look at Detective Tails, how can you not love that? Easily one of the best spin-off covers. And that's no mystery. A rank. And that is all the spin-offs, not counting crossovers. So let's recap. 4 for S rank, 18 for A rank, 24 for B rank, 12 for C rank, 5 for D rank, and once again, 1 for E rank. As a whole, the spin-off covers aren't as good as the main series ones, which you would expect. The main series should have the top quality. And for the spin-off games, you would cut loose and do something different with Sonic. I saw a lot of experimentation going on here, and while they are hit and miss, I'm not forgetting the hits. Thanks for watching. Which spin-off cover is your favorite? And don't forget to like and subscribe. Till next time.